Thanks, Bill. Congratulations too. You're looking good tonight. How's the knee? Okay, off you go now, that's fine. Thanks, off you go. Don't drop it. Rab and I made that sinking feeling way back in 1979, but already by that point I had been working in the Scottish film business for 15 years. So just for a few minutes I'd like to take you back to that missing decade and a half and into the prehistoric beginnings of the Scottish film business. Back then there was probably only 20 people in the whole industry. God, there must be double that now. I'll take this one home too. Kelvin Drive, Glasgow W2. A very tense scene was played out here one January afternoon about 45 years ago. My best pal from school and I had applied for the same job, and we'd ended up with back-to-back interviews. So I waited out here for him and he waited for me. We were playing it cool with each other, but this job seemed to be pretty special. It could be life-changing. The ad had sung out in the local newspaper. Youth required for film production company, Mary Hill. So it might have been the film business, but the questions were the bog standard ones of the time. Can you handle a broom? Can you use a lawnmower? And then Stanley caught me out when he asked me if I could drive a car. I had to say no to that. So then he said, well, can you wash a car? So I agreed to that one and we kind of reached a compromise. My pal Stu and I, we were both dreamers, but I had a slightly more practical streak. At one point in the interview, Stanley pointed to a big studio lamp in the corner and said, could you try lifting that? So I went over to it, it was about this high, gave it a tug and managed to get it off the floor. So it was Stu that broke the silence on the bus ride home from the interviews. He said, did he ask you to pick up that big electric plug? And I said, what plug was that? He said, well, there was a big plug sitting on top of a lamp. Did he ask you to pick it up? And the idea of picking up the lamp itself hadn't occurred to Stu. So I thought, I'm inching ahead here. That was my first professional assassination. So I took my first stroll to work on Monday the 10th of February 1964. A nice late start as well, 9:30 and £3 a week. If you want some chronological context, that same morning Armando Iannucci was over there on Byers Road. He was 10 weeks old, still practising how to fill his nappy. Mind you, I think he had 6 hires by that age as well. Anyway, for me it was showtime, and this is what we did at Thames and Clyde Films. Thames and Clyde Films was a one-man and a boy outfit. Stanley Russell did the filming and the driving, of course, and I learned to do everything else. A fabulous introduction to the nuts and bolts of making films.
Have taken place more quickly than at any other time in history. A building which has stood for a century or more is quite suddenly gone.
I was the saucerer's apprentice, and this was my Wanderjahr. We travelled the country wide. For us, every day was showtime in the factories and fields of East Kilbride, Bathgate, Hart Hill. We filmed anything that moved, and if it refused to move, we panned across it, or tilted up it. There were variations. You could also tilt down, and then pan across. What we made were glorified magic lantern shows, pictures with words.
The new river crossing projects are also vital communication links. One of these is the tunnel under the Clyde at Glasgow. It replaces the ferry boats with their exasperating queues of vehicles waiting to cross from either side.
Stanley pumped out the 60s message of speed and change, but personally he liked the old ways. One morning we were heading off for Renfrew Airport to pick up some camera equipment. Stanley driving, of course, and halfway down Byers Road he slowed down the car and said, you know what, let's not take that tunnel, let's go down and take the old Renfrew ferry. So 20 minutes later we're in a long line of traffic here waiting for the ferry to chug back and forward a couple of times till it's our turn, and it was gently raining as usual. Stanley looked out of the car window and pointed to a puddle, and we looked at it, and he said eventually, do you know, if we'd taken the tunnel we wouldn't ever have seen that puddle. I liked that and I liked the job even more. It seemed that every day was a day out. And ever since I've tried to take the puddled path through life. Puddled path? Who the hell wrote that? Puddled path? No, we'll have to do that again. So our kinds of films were basically dictated to by technology. We were making silent movies with wind-up cameras because the first lightweight Arriflex 16mm camera didn't come out in 1965. In '64 I was here. Stanley had sent me here to shoot the Queen reviewing the home fleet for Pathé News. So I was here setting up some lenses and looking through the camera, and I felt a tap on my shoulder. Turned around, there's a little line forming. Fella said, "Would you mind hurrying up, please?" Apparently they thought I was hogging the Promenade telescope. So I couldn't even fool the people of Greenock that I was a proper cameraman. Back then we manufactured films much the same way as they built ships. We actually welded the shots together. This is called a hot foot splicer, and it's called that because it's foot operated and it goes hot because it actually melts the film and joins it, and occasionally removes fingers. So that was it. Once you'd made an edit, it kind of stayed that way, so you thought long and hard about the cuts you were making. It's nice in here, isn't it? I always like the cutting room. Safe and warm. And chilled. Warm and chilled, all at the same time. And this is a cement splicer. And this is a cement. Ah. Oh yeah. Hello. Ah. If you had a sister who used nail varnish remover, you'll know where I'm coming from. I don't know why I took to the cutting room so much.
Bill! Bill!
Bill!
There lies the inspiration of the new Scotland.
So how's it going, Heather? Do you think it's going okay? Am I walking and talking? Am I getting that okay?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm starting to relax with it a wee bit now.
Yeah.
Do you think I could knock Neil Oliver off his perch? No?
No.
No. Yeah, he's got the hair, hasn't he? Yeah, he's got the hair. I used to have the hair, but... Okay, let's get out of here.